Here we go. We're officially signing up for the Kalamazoo Ziegler Marathon. We are officially registered. Let's go get this W. Welcome everyone to week 2 of my marathon training journey. This week we're going to be going over how I plan and prepare for my marathons. When I first started thinking about training for a marathon, my very first marathon, I really had no context or idea of how to train for a marathon. What I did know, however, was how to train for a 5K. I had run cross country in high school, and I knew roughly what a 3 to 4 month training program looked like. So I took these lessons and I ran my very first marathon, which was the Holland Haven Marathon right here in Michigan. For my second marathon this past year, I followed a similar process, but I also kind of got injured, so it derailed that process quite a bit. I still managed to PR, and I learned a lot of lessons along the way that I'm going to roll into training for this third marathon here. Let's dive right in to this process that I have developed from my last 2 marathons and about a decade of training. I'm curious to see what you guys think about it, and be sure to leave any suggestions in the comments down below. In last week's video, you saw each of my runs and how starting the training process can be extremely challenging. Whether that looked like minor frustrations like my running watch not working properly or not restarting Strava, to big concerns that are outside of your control like the weather and the running conditions. It's really important to go into marathon training with a certain level of consistency so that you are prepared to go the extra mile and push yourself and train hard. A lot of my frustrations in week 1 were from the simple fact that I had not been running for about 6 weeks since having ankle surgery. So if you want to run a marathon, start running. Start practicing being consistent. It's going to take, at least 5 runs a week in order to get into the shape you need to be to meet your goals. It's super important to have a goal for your marathon, whether that's just finish in however long it takes, or ideally have some sort of idea of how long you want to run your marathon in. For me personally, I'm hoping to break that 3-hour mark. From your time goal, I would definitely recommend doing the math to identify the pace you need to run in order to reach that time. Whether it's for 3 hours and 6:52 per mile pace or 4 hours and 8-minute pace. Once you have identified these goals and your goal pace, you can start training around this pace. You can do training runs to go this pace for a certain amount of distance most every day and start building up your endurance and your speed, and that will set you up for success. Once you have your goal time and pace, then you can start planning. The way I usually do this is I identify how many weeks I have to work with and start filling out a template of how I want each week to go and how long I want my long runs to be at the end of every week. For this marathon, I created a Google Excel sheet I'm using as a template, and you can see I've filled out week 1 and week 2 here, and I'm starting to fill out week 3 with a general plan of how I want this week to go. Today is Monday. I want to do a couple 7.5 mile runs, which is going to be my base distance for training runs. And then I have an easy run, and then I have my long run goal for each week. This is going to grow week to week until I reach my sort of maximum long run goal, which is almost marathon distance, but not quite. It takes your body quite a long time to recover from marathon distance and marathon pace. So you want to do that about 2 weeks before your actual marathon. So it gives me a weekly mileage goal that I can grow week to week as well. And that helps set up your base endurance for your marathon. And then you can see week 11 and week 12 start to taper off to week 13, where I have marked exactly the day when my marathon is. I can prepare my body, make sure it's not sore, make sure I have the right nutrition, start to carbo load a little bit a week before, 2 weeks before even, in order to make sure I have enough fuel for the day of. And that gets me to my next point, which is all of the other things that you need to plan for besides your training schedule. One of the things you're taught in running is to always scout the route before you actually race the route. If you've run it a couple times before, that's even better. It will help you get into the groove of running, get into your runner's high, take your mind off of trying to figure out where you're going or following the guy ahead of you, and it'll bring confidence to you to continue and finish the race. For me, I like to take this a step further. I like to do my long runs on the route if I can. So I do a long run for the first half, and I do a long run for the second half of the marathon. That way I know I've run each segment of the race at least once before the actual race day. At the very least, I would definitely recommend walking it or at least driving if it's a road race, so you get an idea of where you're going, where the major turns are. If there's hills, if there's difficult portions, you can prepare yourself for them. Knowing the course will also help identify where your support crew can access the course. For me, I've always had a support crew, usually comprised of my mom, my girlfriend, sometimes my dad or my sisters. This just helps you be comfortable. It helps you get the things you need. If you need them, you can tell them, I'm gonna need some more water, or I'm gonna need a granola bar or a nutrition packet. It's just a good morale boost. I mean, you're gonna be running for multiple hours in a marathon. So seeing your friends and family can help motivate you to complete the run, overcome that challenge, and have a great race experience overall. Your support crew also plays into your nutrition plan. A lot of runners, they're gonna sweat a lot. They're gonna need water at the very least. And while there are aid stations with water cups, I generally prefer to be handed a Gatorade bottle that I can just spray, and I don't have to worry about making it into the garbage can. I can have Gatorade if I want to. I can have options for nutrition that I prefer, whether that's goo packets of the flavor that I like or granola bars in the case of my first marathon. I will say I am learning more and more about how to prepare my nutrition for a marathon. It is going to be really important. You're going to be burning several hundred calories, if not 1,000 to 2,000 calories over the course of your marathon. So you're going to want to replenish at least some of those calories in order to keep your mind sharp and not zone out or start to lose pace over the course of your marathon and end up not meeting your goal time. And the last thing you should really give a lot of thought about is going to be your kit for the day. From your running shoes to your watch. Are you going to listen to music? What earbuds are you going to use? What clothes are you going to wear? What the weather is going to be like? You want to be comfortable and you want to be confident in what you're running in. And so you should know what shirt you're going to run in, what underwear are best to prevent chafing and things like that. I mean, everything is going to play a factor. After 3 hours of running, you're gonna want to at least be comfortable while doing it. My marathon is going to be a spring road race, so even if it rains or it's cold, I can wear more layers, or I can go around puddles and things. It's not going to play a big impact on the trail conditions. Like, it's not going to be muddy or slippery, so I'm not too worried about that. But you want to keep an eye on that 14-day forecast, week of forecast, that day of forecast, and be prepared for the weather conditions. That's gonna about do it for me. I gotta go get ready for my run here today. I hope you guys found this helpful and you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know in the comments down below. Give it a like and subscribe so that you can get my full journey as I prepare for my third marathon and hopefully break that 3-hour mark. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate your support, and I do have a Patreon and a Redbubble linked in the description down below. Until next time, have a good one.